It seems Israel just doesn't want to stop. It wants to wipe out 3 millions of humanity, whatever it takes. In Israel's view, Hamas is in Gaza and those around them would suffer the collateral damage. But is it possible to wipe out millions of Palestinians? Has Israel besieged the Hamas or has Israel besieged itself? Welcome to yet another edition of WiseHeads. This is your host, Ashish Shukla. We are told by the defenders of Israel that the outrage by Hamas has left them with no other option, that Israel is exercising its right of self-defense. But killing thousands of innocents isn't collateral damage. It's a policy of vengeance. Force doesn't ensure the security of Israelis. Instead, it opens them to threat from non-state actors like Hezbollah in Lebanon. There are fundamentalist Arab militias in Egypt, Jordan, and Syria. How do you save your own citizens when it's free for all? Don't we know that Hezbollah has over a lakh of missiles? Then we have Iran, which could inflict some serious damage. Even if Israel is a mighty army and the United States is by his side, don't we know that modern wars these days rarely get over? At best, they are frozen conflicts like we have seen in Afghanistan, Yemen, Syria, or countries in Africa. The truth is, Israel would get bogged down in Gaza in ground invasion. Urban guerrilla wars don't end quickly, they drag on for years. And if Israel remains bogged down, it's almost given that attacks would occur from neighboring Arab countries. In looking to eliminate Hamas, Israel is putting its citizens in a perpetual state of anxiety and fear. It begs the question what options Israel had which they didn't opt for. The first, of course, was to look to exchange hostages with Hamas after Israel had indulged in initial disproportionate revenge. It would have served two purposes. One, it could have exposed Hamas, who it is believed are not as much interested in a Palestinian state as it is in the erasure of Israel from the world map. Hamas all along knew that its attack would bring an Israeli retribution, but the retribution didn't deter him. And that's because the life of Palestinians wasn't Hamas' priority. Hamas just wanted to isolate Israel in Middle East and expose them as the fastest state in world arena. So if Israel had offered to exchange hostages and Hamas had refused, Israel would have been justified in doing whatever it takes to wipe out this perennial threat to their state. It would have appeared that Israel were left with no other option by the Hamas, that their carnage of Palestinians in Gaza is justified. But Israel didn't take the path of exchange of hostages. This was the first diplomatic move which Israel missed. The second was Israel didn't factor in its isolation on the world stage. Chile, Colombia, Bolivia, and Turkey have recalled their ambassadors as of Bahrain and Honduras. It's as good as breaking off of diplomatic relations. Argentina has used some very strong words against Israel. Brazil has accused Israel of war crimes. Further, those who are standing with Israel, nations like the United States and its allies in Europe, are today seen as hypocrites. The world is waking up that in the guise of being defenders of democracy, human rights, and international laws, the West is supporting a genocide. It is supporting an ethnic cleansing, which, as per the definition, is what the fascists and Nazis do. The United States asking for humanitarian pauses is like offering water before a torturer resumes his business. Israel, it seems, is seeking a final solution on Palestinians, much like what Adolf Hitler had sought against the Jews in the 20th century. Israel is looking to get Gaza stripped free of Palestinians. The next would be Palestinians in West Bank. It's learned that Israel and the US are not only expecting the neighboring Arab countries to host the Palestinians as refugees, it has also come to light that Canada might be persuaded to host a mass of Palestinian refugees. The future which Israel has in mind for millions of Palestinians is frightening, as if these Palestinians are no better than flies which could be swatted away. The other option Israel has, of course, is to grant Palestinians the state they have waited for decades. Every year, nearly every nation of the world affirms in the United Nations that the Palestinians must get their state. But this idea is anathema to Israel. Now is the time to rethink, for forces would never offer a permanent solution. If Israel seeks peace, it has to grant not just the Gaza Strip to Palestinians, but also West Bank and create a corridor which links the two. It, of course, must include East Jerusalem too, which has the third holiest Muslim site in Al-Aqsa Mosque after Makkah and Medina. But then Israel looks at Al-Aqsa Mosque as its own sacred Mount Temple, which they have lost twice in history. Israel dreams of having the third Mount Temple on the site of Al-Aqsa Mosque. To let go on Al-Aqsa Mosque is a move no political leader in Israel would dare do. Who could then deter Israel? Well, it's apparent that Arab nations can't do that. They are not militarily as strong as Israel is. The only force which could deter Israel is the United States, but the United States political system is almost controlled by the Jewish lobby. President Joe Biden is looking for a re-election in a few months' time. He won't dare do something which could annoy the Zionist forces in home. This all spells only disaster. Every passing hour is bringing us closer to a regional war in Middle East. It would soon be world war since Russia and China won't sit idle either. They won't let Iran go to pieces as it is pivotal to the multipolar world the two have forged. We have the example of Syria in whose defense Russia came a few years ago. The United States won't let Israel be destroyed either as it is like its outpost in Middle East. The truth is the United States needs Israel for it needs to control the oil in Middle East. Once the control on oil goes, the US would lose its hegemony. It's as existential for the United States as it is for Israel. That's all in today's edition of WiseHeads. This is your host Ashish Shukla now taking your leave. Hopefully next time we meet, peace would be in the air and not the apocalypse which is presently being feared. Till then, it's goodbye and good luck. We all need it.